Week 14. At long last, we're here. Final week of the regular season. Michael, Max, it's as if we planned this color coordination we got going on here, Max.
Matchy. You know, we took out all the stops for this last one. You know, we even had an outline, so we had to match. We had to make it professional looking. So I'm ready to go.
All that's missing is the suit and tie, but we're not doing that because it's after 5 o'clock. So
exactly
through that.
That's time.
This is going to be a little bit of a mega podcast, so buckle up, get ready, because there is a lot to discuss. As Max and I were talking about off camera, probably one of the more entertaining seasons in recent memory, especially when you look at the fact that you got 5 teams just slugging it out like nobody's business. I can't remember the last time we saw something like that. Now, I will say we did see something like that last season. Maybe I've just grown to forget it because I went from 1st to 5th in the span of week 13 and 14. But this one just seems like there's a little bit more drama to it, Max.
Well, it's funny you say that because I think this year I'm going to go from 1st to 5th in those last 2 weeks like you did last year. And it's always more entertaining and more fun when you're, you know, at the top of the league instead of the bottom. So I think we got to note that. But with that said, I think there's been some changes this year. For the better, and it's been an entertaining year. So,
all right. So, what changes specifically?
Specifically, I mean, just the NFL in general is way more points. It's across the board. There's more scoring. So that's fun. You know, it's always wild to go into a Monday night and be down 30 and potentially have a chance, especially if you have 1 or 2 players on the Rams or
Tyreek Hill and Patrick Mahomes come to mind for me.
Yeah,
thanks, Quentin.
Yeah, that would do it. So it's been fun. It's a good year. With that said, I'm already preemptively salty that I'm gonna miss the playoffs, but we can get to that at a later date.
Yeah, I don't know if Salty Max is the best Max. Naked Max is pretty good too.
Naked Max is a better one, yeah.
But you've also got a hit list, so that's gonna be a lot of fun tonight.
Do have a hit list, yeah. And I'm kind of upset that Caleb kind of predicted that that's what I was gonna do before I even said it. Maybe I gave it away a little in the chat. But we had kind of already discussed this idea a couple days ago. So, Caleb, you know me too well, which I guess is an okay thing. So,
yeah, he's known you for a while. So,
known me for a bit. But I guess before we go into that, just some comments on the year. More points. We already said that. I was looking at teams' rosters, and the good teams they drafted well, and I guess that's not like a novel thing to say, but I feel like in certain years, it was all about the free agent pickups. Like Alvin Kamara comes to mind last year. And I feel like it used to be if you made that one pickup, you could change the year. Not really. Caleb and Quentin and you all drafted really well. And we were talking before, your brother really hasn't done any free agent pickups. Nope. So, I mean, all the playoff teams, really, they drafted well, and that's where we're at.
Yeah, although you can make the argument with Steven that well, we'll get to it in terms of best transaction of the year, but spoiler alert, it involves James Conner.
Yeah, so, definitely. And the last thing I wanted to just add for the year is, I used to go as this my strategy, and this year I didn't by going running back, but I used to always think that a stud wideout is more important than a stud running back. And I think that's true still this year, because if you look at who's the running backs that are serviceable, yes, there's some studs out there, but with injuries, with suspensions, you kind of have to play the waiver wire. So I do like the strategy of kind of just doing a wide net and hopefully getting lucky with 1 or 2 of them.
Yeah. Steven has $89 in free agent money remaining. And it's one of those things where you just go, like, what the hell are you waiting for? It's week 14. Now, could he go get Jalen Samuels if he wanted to replace James Conner, who's out for an extended period of time, or so it looks like? Absolutely. Could he go get other guys that I won't name because I might be going after the same guys? Sure. And he has the money to do it. But week 14 seems a little bit late when you're fighting for your playoff life, and probably had a couple wins or a couple losses in there that could have been avoided had he made some free agent pickups.
Yeah, definitely. And I didn't know who Jalen Samuels was, so I've learned something today.
Oh, there you go. Is it time for the hit list? I feel like it's time for the hit list. Just let loose.
Yeah, I think so. And unfortunately, I built it up too much because I'm in a pretty good mood. My son was very cute this evening. So I went from being in a crappy mood with work and fantasy bullshit to playing with him. So now I'm fun. So now that the awe of that is gone by, we'll start the hit list. I define it as who I hate to lose to / really, really love to win and beat. And I'm going to go start in reverse order. So the people who I really don't give a shit when I play. Does that make sense? Okay. So obviously number 10 or number 9, because I'm not going to count myself, is Logan. New guy. You've been in the league 1 year. I really don't care. You didn't pick anyone that I really wanted. So it's been fun having you. I hope you actually watch these things. I'm not sure if you do because you don't comment on anything.
He just commented, though, that he was going to take Caleb's first place spot.
I would, hey, I'm rooting for you. So best of luck. If you beat me, I think you might have this year. Congrats. If you didn't, I didn't really care either way. So
yeah, I'll give Logan some credit now because his team's come on as of late, and for as poorly as he's drafted, he's managed to put something together with this Aaron Jones, Tariq Cohen backfield. On top of that, Andrew Luck has done pretty well.
Yeah,
and then he's got Eric Ebron and Keenan Allen. So Logan, not a bad first year for you. I mean, for the fact that you're playing against guys who have been doing this for a while, and every single person I talk to in this league goes, you know what, I'm a lot more successful in my other league than I am in this one. And I think that speaks to the quality of the league. So Logan, keep it up. Don't go anywhere.
That was somewhat condescending, but not enough to be too much. I like that little riff. Moving on to the second bottom, Josh. I know you well. You're my roommate. You were my roommate. You're shitty at fantasy and you get bad luck. So when I lose to you, I don't feel bad. I feel like you deserve it. You deserve the win. And when I beat you, I don't feel great about it because it was supposed to happen. Next is I switched this one out. It's actually Andy. Andy Burton there. Yeah. I just respect you, man. You went from having shitty teams to having better teams. And I don't know you that well, and I don't see you ever. So if I lose you, it's not the end of the world. Next is Little Hogan.
New guy number 2.
New guy number 2. You moved up a little because you're a Hogan, and so I gotta have like a little anger towards you just because of Caleb.
Yeah.
Plus we work in the same building, so if I see you on the elevator every once
in a while, really?
Yeah.
Oh, this is news to me.
Yeah. I saw him on the elevator for a while, thinking it was Caleb's brother because he looks identical. But yeah, Little Hogan. We go to the same place for work. Okay, next. So now we're in like the top 5, and with that is Steven, another younger brother. I got no hate for you, Steven. You seem like a good kid, smart kid. But I don't know why I have you even this high. I got no answers.
He has guys that you like.
That's true. That was it. He does have some guys I like. And I think he's going to – and because he's going to make the playoffs with based on points.
Yeah, probably over you, yeah.
Yeah, he's going to be the 4 seed, I'm going to be the 5. So, yeah, that's why you're there. Next up, this one flipped this morning. Mike, you're not as high as I thought you were. You're only 4th from the top.
That's bullshit.
That is. When I go through the next 3, you'll see why. Yeah, I mean, you piss me off, but you run a good league, so I'll give you some credit for that.
Each other off about trades like nonstop. I'm surprised I didn't make top 3. I feel like I should be offended by this.
Maybe you were 3rd, but you moved to 4th.
All right,
number
so
3, Caleb.
How's Caleb 3?
Yeah, I don't know. Every other year before, he would have been lower than this, but he's grinding my gears. I just feel like he's being condescending. I don't know if it is. I don't know if it's just me being sensitive, but Caleb, you've been pissing me off, and I want to beat you. I want you to lose to Logan, and I want to beat you in the playoffs. So hopefully that
a lot of shit this season.
I like
more than he's talked in a while. And I like that when you're the 1 seed and all that, but I mean, Caleb, I feel like this could end poorly for you, buddy.
I like the shit talk, but just wait till the end of the year. Wait till the end of the year. The final 2, Brad or Quentin. It's going back and forth, but I kind of gave it away in the chat. Brad's my number 2, Quentin's my number 1. Okay. And I'll tell you why. Even for my first year in this league, I remember Quentin was drafting 1 spot in front of me, and he continuously picked the players I wanted for like 4 rounds in a row. Like every time he was 1 in front of me, he picked my guy. So that pissed me off. I've known Quentin, I think, the longest of everyone in this league. So when you know each other. That breeds some contempt.
Kindergarten?
Yeah, kindergarten.
Yeah.
Yeah. So fuck you, Quentin. You're going down. And then your bullshit about Kareem Hunt when you have fucking Tyreek Hill, who is a literal terrible person.
Yeah, he's awful.
I mean, yes, it's not on camera, but he is fucking terrible.
Yeah.
So yeah.
If there was video of him doing that, Tyreek Hill would not be in the league. Tyreek Hill would not be on your team, Quentin.
Yeah. And we're playing each other this week with a chance to go to the playoffs. And
you already resign yourself to the fact that you're going to lose to him.
Yeah, so there's a lot on the line. So Quentin, congratulations. I hate you the most. Brad.
Why is Brad number 2? Because that's still high.
Because Brad thinks he knows everything about fantasy football, and it drives me insane. Like, anyone who thinks they have skill in fantasy football, like, you can have a bit of skill. I'm not going to say you can't. But it is such a luck game. Like, it is.
5 straight years making the playoffs for this guy.
That's a really crazy thing. But you know what? That's mostly luck. Like, yes, you have a little skill, but like you're lucking out in that aspect of your life, and you're not getting lucky in other aspects of your life. Like, it's luck. But I have other people in other leagues that think they are the best, and will quote all this crap, and I feel the same way about them. And there's no hate. Don't get me wrong, no hate.
He's the defending champ.
Yeah,
and he kind of he screwed you with your pants on this trade that we'll get into later. That's got to factor into the number 2 ranking.
It definitely factors into number 2. Let me rephrase. If it was not you, because I don't like trading with you, but if it was Caleb or even Quentin or anyone else and that trade happened, I wouldn't be as mad as I am that is with Brad, because Brad acts like he knows everything about fantasy football, if that makes sense.
He's Brad in the deal, so I mean he's got to know something that you don't.
He's in the deal, but yes, he got the better, but I don't think. I think it was still worth the trade at the time.
Okay,
whatever. I'm making shit up here.
It cost you a championship, but yeah,
it cost me a championship. Thanks. Yeah. I'd like to have Ertz right now. But yeah, that's my hit list. It's pretty weak. Just know that I really like beating Quentin and Brad and Caleb and Mike. When I beat you 4, I'm a lot happier.
Fair enough.
That's what it is. You want to go to the best draft pick?
Yeah, so we were looking at this earlier today, and there are a lot of contenders for best draft pick, for worst draft pick. Obviously, where you drafted the guy comes into play. Definitely. For me personally, I don't like defining a bad draft pick as someone who went down with an injury. So, Fournette for you.
Yeah.
I don't view that as a bad draft pick. I view that as an unlucky draft pick. To me, a bad draft pick is a guy where you go, hey, this guy's going to do phenomenally well, and then he just shits the bed.
Right.
And because, as you said, fantasy football is a luck game to a large extent. And Brad and I have talked about this round and round and round. Look, he went 4-10 because Le'Veon Bell, his number 2 overall pick, decided to sit out for a season. That's normally not going to happen. Would he have a different outlook on his season if he had drafted, say, Zeke at number 2? Absolutely. It's just one of those things.
Just one of those things.
All right, so let's go 3-1. What's your third best draft pick of 2018?
And are we going to bounce back and forth, I guess?
No, we're just going to go 3-1 on best and 3-1 on worst.
All right, got it. Well, I'm giving myself a homer pick for best. The third best I have is Chris Carson, 83rd. I know he had some injuries, but just when you see the running backs who were chosen before him and where I got him and how late, and he's really, been a valuable flex runner.
Okay, so Carson third.
Yeah, Carson third. Oh, wait, lost my sheet. Second is Mahomes. You could obviously argue that for being first. We all gave him crap. Obviously, that's a good pick. So Mahomes is my second best pick. And then this one might be kind of you might not like this, but I got to give your brother a ton of credit for going Gurley number 1. You have to kill it on the number 1 pick, and he killed it. And there was multiple options. I know that he had a 50-50 or, maybe 3 people to pick. I still think you got to make the right decision there, because if you don't, your team is completely garbage. And so those are my top 3 best draft picks.
All right, I'm going to give you mine. I have not done as much research on this. but I will give you mine as I'm scrolling through. I understand why you said that on Gurley. It makes a lot of sense to me. That said, I don't know how you can put a first overall pick as your number one pick.
I just think
like you're either going to go Gurley or you're going to go Bell, and I understand those are two drastic endings to your season, right? But he had the number one overall pick. I told Brad last night I had Bell at 1, so clearly Steven made the right pick by going with Gurley. Max, that seems like a little weak to have that as your number one overall pick.
I think there's a lot of pressure on the number one pick, and he made the right call.
Okay.
Didn't he get burned by Gurley 2 years or 3 years before, or was that someone else? Is that Mr. Wayne?
I think that was Mr. Wayne.
Okay.
Brad drafted Gurley last year in the 3rd round, and that worked out fantastically well for him. Yeah. I'm going to go best draft pick. Ooh, this is tough. I'm going to go quarterback heavy here. I'm going to say round 10 Breeze for you.
Thank you.
Was phenomenal. You picked him one spot ahead of me, and I spent the better part of a month trying to trade for him. So that tells you how much respect I have for the Breeze pick, especially after all the quarterbacks that had gone ahead of him. For you to land Breeze, I mean, Cam Newton, Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson. I mean, a lot of guys went ahead. Carson Wentz. Just, you know. Yep. So Breeze 3rd overall in terms of draft picks. Number 2, I will go Mahomes. I agree with you there. You can make the argument for him at number 1. Also in round 10. Everybody mocked it. I mean, in the moment, it felt like the fact that Breeze was there, that Breeze would have been the safer pick for Quentin instead of Mahomes, but he liked Mahomes. The number 1 overall pick for best draft goes to me, James Conner in round 14. I don't think I need to say anything else. You got a top 5 overall guy in round 14. That's a good draft pick.
That's a good point.
Now, the other thing I'll do is I'll mock myself for that comes in the transactions part of this. So those are my top 3.
All right. You want me to jump into my top 3 worst picks?
Give me your top 3 worst.
Sure. All right. So, I couldn't really do a good job, I think, in my bad picks. Obviously, my 3rd worst pick is Bell. I know you can't predict a holdout is going to actually last as long as it is going to last, and in this case, the whole time. Obviously, I didn't think it was going to last the whole time since I traded for him.
Right.
But on my list, I didn't have Bell until the 2nd round. And I know that seems extreme, but like when you're doing a snake draft and not an auction, you can't miss in the 1st round. I just thought there was way too much risk with Bell, especially with Connor being decent and everyone knowing that, and that offense having so many other weapons. It just makes sense to maybe push Bell further down. Okay. So that was my 3rd worst. 2nd worst, I kind of went away from what and included running backs that got injured. So I have the Fournette, Dalvin Cook picks kind of grouped in there, and also Rashad Penny at 46. There was so many other running backs after that came off the board. So Rashad Penny for Logan. Sorry about that. And then my worst pick of the year was Gronk in the 2nd round. I mean, he's just garbage. He's old and tight end. I mean, I wanted Kelsey. Kelsey went 1 pick before me to Caleb. I got Ertz, and Brad gave me shit on that, saying I reached, and then he traded for him midway through the year. So I don't think anyone thought Gronk was going to be a top 3 tight end. Maybe it's revisionist history, but I thought that was a bad pick.
Yeah, Ertz, if we're talking best draft picks, that's an honorable mention for me. It probably came at number 4. I'll give you my 3 worst. I'll start with Gronk. I agree with you there. My wife needs to stop calling me.
You need to answer it. Pause it. Answer
it. Doing a podcast. There we go. All right. Number 3 is Gronk. This is a guy who, yes, he battled injuries to an extent, but not to the point. That's a lot to give up for a guy who has performed as poorly as he has. I've gone back and forth. Jimmy Graham is probably an honorable mention for me. I just didn't like that pick in round 5. I didn't like it from the beginning. Aaron Rodgers just doesn't have a history of targeting tight ends. And so I thought he'd struggle. I knew he had a good year in Seattle last year. I just didn't think that carried over to Green Bay. So that's an honorable mention. Chris Hogan. I'm going to throw myself under the bus here. Chris Hogan in round 6. Guy didn't get injured. He was just shitty. I mean, there are, as we talked about before, there are guys who get injured and there are guys who just shit the bed. And Chris Hogan might be one of the biggest bust of the year. And then I went back and forth on this. I certainly considered Derrick Henry in round 3. Can I do it 1A and 1B? Derrick Henry in round 3 and Jordan Howard in round 3. Howard has to be one of the all-time bust of the season. He's RB 30 right now.
Yeah, Howard's definitely
a guy who was a 3rd-round pick.
Yeah, Howard's definitely up there. I also had Henry in my rankings at first, but he's actually come on in the last couple of weeks and had some solid, decent weeks. So I'll take him out. But yeah, Howard's been a huge disappointment.
What's Henry done? I don't believe this for a second.
He's been in double digits. I think 203.
No way.
Check it out.
I'm looking at this now. Derrick Henry is RB 37.
What has he done the last couple of weeks?
He has had 4 double-digit games in his season.
All in the last couple of weeks, correct?
So he went week 7, by week 8, week 9, week 10. He posted double digits in 3 straight. Then went 4.6, 3.9, 11.5.
Beast.
Hey, Ben Hogan, you want to know why you didn't make the playoffs? Look at the guy you drafted in the 3rd round. Same goes for Andy. I mean, when Andy's first 2 of the first 3 picks he makes are David Johnson, who certainly deserves an honorable mention for worst draft pick, definitely the worst draft pick of the 1st round, and Jordan Howard, your team's not going to fare well.
No doubt.
Let's go into transactions.
Okay.
Let's do best transactions. 3, 2, 1. So this can be a waiver wire pickup or a trade.
Okay. I got 3, and I got them pretty much all ranked the same. Okay. I got AP pickup for free agent for me before the season started. I got that one.
By the way, he's on the trade block, guys, if you want him. Just Max will always trade AP to you.
I will always trade AP, and he's still on my team.
Yeah.
Number 2, I got a tie for second with the Kittle pickup and the Phillip Lindsay pickup. Probably Phillip Lindsay's a little bit better, but those were great week 1 pickups.
Yep.
And I think Lindsay was only like $6 or something.
Yep.
And then the best one obviously is Connor. We don't even need to go into detail on that.
Nope.
A great pickup. Honorable mention Boyd. That Boyd pickup. I think he got him in late September. The wide receiver on the Bengals. Caleb did a good job with 2 or 3 of those picks. So besides for drafting well, he also did a really nice job getting free agents.
Yeah, you can certainly make the case for Kittle. He's been fantastic. Steven dropped him to go get James Conner, which was interesting.
Yep.
So as good as that pickup was getting Conner, he did also lose a top tight end, and he struggled at tight end all season long with Kyle Rudolph. So funny how that one works out. I will say Kittle at 3. I just can't put AP on any list.
Understood.
But honorable mention. I will say Brad's trade with you, in which he gets Ertz, because you're getting the number 1 tight end in fantasy football this year. And then Connor's number 1. Yeah. No need to have a discussion.
Understood.
Worst transactions.
Obviously, Connor being dropped.
Yeah, Connor's got to be one in both categories.
Yeah, Connor's one in both. I thought the Inunwa pickup, just because Brad spent a ton of money, I want to say like $35 or $40 free agent money.
Yeah.
And I think he had maybe 1 week where he was worthwhile after that, but after that, I think he, didn't get a start and was worthless.
Okay. This can include drops too, like if you dropped him. So yeah. So like Connor obviously is number one.
The Connor drop, the Inunwa pickup, and then my trade. I still think it was okay at the time it occurred, but it obviously didn't work out right. And I probably didn't need to give up anything besides Ertz. The Coleman, addition was probably unnecessary.
Yeah, but it's not like Coleman did anything.
He had 1 week that was decent, but yeah, nothing too big.
If anything, you could have offloaded Coleman for something else.
Right.
When Freeman went down. I think that was the bigger thing, was that if you're really wheeling and dealing, then you make 2 trades and Coleman's one of them after you go and get Bell.
Yeah,
you figure Bell's back in a couple weeks, Coleman becomes expendable given your running back stable that you have. All those sound good to me. I'll give myself an honorable mention because I'm vain. For worse, I'll give myself two of the 3, or maybe 2 of the 4, whatever. Connor, obviously, we don't need to get into that. I lose sleep at night, and it's been 14 weeks. That it's just shitty. That's all it is. I dropped George Kittle the week that Garoppolo went down in week 2. After spending $23 or $24 on him, I gave up on him. Gave up on him after a week, and I struggled at the tight end position all year. So it's certainly one of those things where I go, what could have been? And if I don't win a championship, it's going to be because of my tight end position.
Makes sense. I didn't realize you picked him up for 23 and dropped him 1 week later.
If we went down, I didn't have any faith in C.J. Beathard, and boy, was I wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And then Mullins on top of that. I give Josh some credit. I mean, dude started when Mullins got the first start of his career. Some no-name out of Southern Miss. Josh sticks with Kittle, and Kittle goes off.
I mean, did he have any other options? It could be like
he was back from injury.
Oh well, shit. That's a pretty ballsy move.
He would have had every reason in the world to go, you know what? I'm going to go with Greg Olsen, considering Cam Newton is his quarterback, given Nick Mullins has never thrown an NFL pass before.
Kudos, Josh. Kudos.
Yeah. Josh, decent season overall.
Yeah, very solid.
All right.
I think that takes us to the weekly picks.
That it does. And boy, are there some picks to make. Let's take a quick look at the standings. Wade just posted the playoff scenarios, and so I will let you at home, those watching, run through it on your own. Max and I will do the best we can to kind of set up what's at stake here, but you can look at the standings and see what's at stake here. Caleb in first at 10-3, 3 teams battling it out at 9-4, and Steven still with a shot at 8-5, if only because he scored more points than anybody else. 15-42 on the year. That's a pretty sizable number. And given the fact that Max and Quentin play each other, given the fact that Steven and I play each other, there's a lot of room for movement here. Caleb got locked into the 1 seed.
Yeah, I mean, Steven pretty much controls his own destiny unless he wins, but, Quentin scores 90 more points than him, which won't happen. So
yeah, Steven really wins and he's in.
Yeah, we have 2 playing games here. So if I win or if Quentin wins, we're in. And if Steven wins, he's in. So
and from a mathematical standpoint,
you're in.
It looks like I'm in as well. So Caleb and I are both in.
Yeah, agreed. So
and you've got 3 teams fighting for 2 playoff spots, and that would be you, Quentin, and Steven.
Exactly. And I knew that going into last week against Caleb. Me and Caleb had a little activity via text, and we both knew, and this was before I think even the in the suspension to Fournette. We both knew that whoever won last week was in the driver's seat for the 1 seed, and really whoever lost was going to be in a really bad shape for even making the playoffs just because of our points scored. So unfortunately for me, I'm in the bad chair, and Caleb's sitting pretty, but that's where we are. So I think it makes sense to knock out these games that really don't matter.
Yeah.
And go to the two big ones to wrap it up.
Yeah. So we'll do let's do the battle of 4 and 9 teams first. That would be or excuse me, let's do 4 and 9 versus 3 and 10. Let's start with the Burtner brothers.
Burtner brothers.
Yeah. Not a ton at stake, obviously. Some bragging rights. Maybe they make some type of bet pregame.
A little side action.
Yeah, I mean, both teams projected to score over 100. If you look at it, I think Brad's projected to lose by 1.5.
And it's possible that Brad could end up being the 10th team in the league. I haven't looked at points, so maybe
you are so salty about Brad winning that champ last year, and so salty about him taking that trade from you.
Just going from first to worst, man. I have to put it out there. With that said, looking at the rosters, it's going to be a solid matchup. I think I'm leaning towards Andy, one, just because I have Brad at number 2 in my hit list. But really, it's no secret. I've always liked Andy's team. Deshaun Watson, David Johnson, Ingram, Sony Michel, Jarvis, Michael Thomas. That's a solid team. If David Johnson performed, if Mark Ingram gets touches, that's a playoff team.
He's 3-10, Max.
Yeah, I don't know why I like his team so much.
I mean, you have a hard-on for Jarvis Landry.
Well, I like Jarvis Landry, I like Ingram, and I like Michael Thomas, and I like Sony Michel. So I don't really like Watson, but he puts up numbers.
Well, so again, keep in mind, and I've reminded people of this earlier in the year, but Andy and I had a trade that was Sony Michel, Jarvis Landry, and Michael Thomas for, I believe it was Zeke and Juju. And I was just like, it's too much for me to give up. I think I wanted to give up Emmanuel Sanders instead, and he wouldn't do it. And it's worked out fairly well for me not doing that trade.
It's worked out for you, but I don't know. I would like to see their points per game compared to each other since that trade offer.
Well, Michelle went down 2 weeks later. 3 weeks.
Yeah, good point.
And let's not act as if Michael Thomas has been the same guy that he was the first 3 weeks of the year.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, he's definitely had some off weeks. I'm thinking he's gonna have a big one this week. I don't know why, but I just have a good feeling. Maybe because I have him in the playoffs in another league, but I have a good feeling about Michael Thomas this week. Anyway, I got Andy winning.
Going to win here.
Yeah, but not by a lot. It's going to be pretty close, and both of those teams might score more than I will.
Interesting. Ben against Josh, 2, 4, and 9 teams. So somebody's getting the 5th win.
I like Ben's team.
Well, he doesn't have Derrick Henry in his lineup, so that makes me like it a little more.
Yeah, that definitely helps. I think he'll get a touchdown from ODB. Maybe it'll be passing.
I was going to say passing or receiving.
It might be passing. That's the only problem. It might be only 4 instead of 6. I also really like Crowell for whatever reason. I just think he puts up like 8 to 14 points pretty regularly. I haven't looked at any stat this year on him, so I don't know if that's true or not, but I like him. I don't really like Drake or you changed it up on me. I don't like Drake, and I don't like Aaron Rodgers. So
Ben projected to win by 4.3.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Actually, I think it's gonna be a little more than that. I think it's gonna be about a 10-point game.
Yeah, look, if Melvin Gordon was out there, I'd take Josh. Josh Adams has come on as of late. Again, we talk about these trades that just, and I'm sure you have a ton of them too, Max, where some of them would have worked out extremely well for you and others would have worked out horribly.
Yeah.
Like the trade that we almost had that involved Jay Ajayi and Drew Brees, worked out well for you not trading Brees. Worked out poorly for me. Josh was desperately trying to get McCaffrey, and so I decided to screw with him and say, give me Melvin Gordon and you can have McCaffrey, and he said no. McCaffrey's the number 1 running back over the last 5 weeks. So funny how that shit works.
Yep.
Funny how it works. I'm tempted to take Josh, but I think the running back struggles will haunt him, and I'll say Ben gets his 5th win of the year.
Yep, I'm in agreement.
You know, we could have made this next one our game of the week, and I'm sure Caleb does not like hearing that. But if there was anybody who was primed to take Caleb down, I think it's Logan. Call me crazy, but I think it's Logan.
I'm calling you crazy. With that said, I think Antonio Brown is due for a big game. Oakland doesn't have great corners, and Big Ben needs to up his game. With that said, he's
Oakland's against the pass against receivers.
I thought they were worse than that, so that's not too bad.
Well, and they just got Mahomes and I don't. Well, I want to say in check. Mahomes put up 30. So does that really count?
Right. I don't know. I don't think Caleb has much to worry about. I think you are a little higher on Logan than I am.
Am I just optimistic? Is that what this is?
What's that?
I'm just optimistic.
Yeah, I think you are. With that said, though, the Caleb killer is on Logan's team, and we know that's to be Eric Ebron. So if Eric Ebron can ruin Caleb's last week of the regular season, that would be great. So
you know how happy that would make me if Elite Ebron takes Caleb out?
It would be great. I mean,
we'd have to change. I think all of us collectively would have to change our team name to some variation of Ebron.
I'm in. Mark me down as being
Elite Ebron 1, Elite Ebron 2. We'll do it just to get Caleb back for all the trash talk he's pulled on us this season.
The problem is, even if he's down going into Monday night, he's got Adam Thielen, and I know he had an off week this previous week. And Seattle is, middle of the road against wideouts.
Yeah,
I think Thielen will single-handedly get him that W.
So Carolina's 6th against the run. San Francisco's middle of the pack. I think Lindsey's due for a down week. I thought it was going to come last week. It obviously didn't. But his if you look at his touches, they've dropped since Royce Freeman came back. I'm just hopeful, and I'm going with Logan. Logan, somebody's got to have faith in you, and if it's not Max, it's damn sure going to be me.
Well, there you go. Take it for what it is. What's ESPN saying? Not that I trust ESPN for a second. But what's the line they got?
Logan projected to put up 112 and yet still lose by 8.7 to Caleb.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
You think it'll be that high of a number?
I think he'll put up like 105, and Caleb will put up the 120.
Wow. Okay. Right. Another brother matchup. And I don't know. Steven might not talk to me for a while if I beat him here.
Well, it's funny because I told Caleb 2 weeks ago that I'm going to be really, really pissed off when there's some collusion that occurs, some brotherly collusion, and you magically bench McCaffrey at the last second for some bullshit reason, and Steven gets the W. However, now that I realize
first and second place are on the line here, why would I?
2 weeks ago, I thought Quentin was going to have one of those lined up, and Caleb was going to have one of those lined up. So the fact that first is still available gives me hope that there won't be collusion, and I won't have to call for a recount in this fantasy league. So with that said, I think Steven beats you. So
wow,
I just think he has a better team. I mean, you were the one sucking his team's dick all year, saying how can anyone beat Steven? So
out.
Which I
agree. On IR. Who's his receiver? He was already struggling at the flex position. Kerryon Johnson's been out for 3 weeks. This is not the same Steven team that we saw 6 weeks ago.
Kerryon Johnson's going to put up big numbers in his return. I think Steven wins. I think he's got the better team, and I just think it is destiny for him to make the playoffs.
Steven, I'm coming for your head. I want first place. I'm going to take it from Caleb. I'm taking my team. I have the top running back duo in the league. It's not even close. There's a reason that I traded up for Christian McCaffrey. I saw this coming. I called him Baby Falk, and everybody mocked me. Guess what? I saw it coming.
ESPN's got you by 17, and And as cocky and as confident as you are, that just gives me so little hope that you're actually going to win. So we'll see. We'll see.
Enjoy it while you can, Max, because Cleveland can't stop the run worth shit. And Zeke's gonna Zeke, baby. Zeke's gonna Zeke.
So he's gonna beat women? Is that what you're telling me?
No, that's just Tyreek Hill.
Domestic violence jokes. All right.
All right. You're going Steven here.
Yeah,
and you're going Caleb to go to 11-3. So Steven and I are both at 9-5. He would have me on points because he's already up 20 to begin with.
Yep.
So he would have the higher seed.
Yep.
Which leaves you and Quentin to battle for the 2 seed, and the other one would get the 5th seed.
That's correct.
Holy hell.
Yep.
All right, so real quick. I'm projected to beat Steven by 13 right now, and you're still taking Steven.
I think
I'm going to talk so much shit to you on Sunday, Max.
I would love for you to be right. I would love for you to win. But
so much shit's coming your way.
Good.
You and Quentin. It's got to be the game of the week. I mean, this is.
Oh yeah, I mean it's it's for the playoffs. It is a playoff game. I think both of our teams have put up great numbers all year. I'm pissed off that we're both in this situation. Stupid Caleb should not be locked up. Well, not locked up, but locked up in the playoffs and a pretty great chance to be in the 1 seed. When I look at my team, I like it. It's got a lot of great players. When I look at Quentin's team, though, he has huge upside. Mahomes, if he wins, it's going to be because Mahomes, Kamara, and Tyreek Hill just dominate. And I don't know. I feel good that he has to play Baltimore with Mahomes and Tyreek Hill. I'm hoping that there's some, weirdness in the locker room with the Kareem Hunt stuff, and they come out a little soft or a little flat. I'm not confident in that. I think ESPN has him winning by a couple. I think that makes kind of the most sense. My running backs are really hit or miss, and I'm relying on AP, Chris Carson, and Leonard Fournette.
Wait, what happened to Kareem Hunt? Oh.
Yeah. So
legit, Max, how pissed? Like, what was your reaction as soon as you saw the TMZ story?
When I saw the TMZ story, I was like, okay, he's going to be suspended for a week or 2. And that was like, because I saw it when I was at work.
You seen the video?
No, I didn't see the video. I just heard about it. I was like, okay, he's going to be suspended for a week or 2. He'll be back for the playoffs. And then like an hour later, someone at my office was talking about it. And so I looked at the video and I was like, oh, well, fuck, my fantasy league is gone. And I have him on my other team in the playoffs. And so, I have him on all 3 of my teams. So that was bad news. And so I got Quentin beating me. I think it's going to be close, but I think it's going to just suck when he gets the W when I'm watching Monday Night Football and Carson puts up like 4 points and Diggs puts up 6, and I don't make it. So,
Max,
we'll see.
Quentin's team might scare me the most out of anybody. I think you win.
I think you're pulling a reverse jinx.
I'm really, really not. I think the fact that Mahomes has to play Baltimore.
That's my hope. I'm
going to say that Mahomes has a top 3 worst performance of the season for him, and that he's held under 20 points.
I mean, I think we'll know who's winning this, or I hope we'll know who's winning this after the 4 o'clock game, before his kicker, and then before my running back.
We won't even need that. We will know by the early game, by the end of the early games.
I don't think so. I think I'm gonna have to hope for a big game from Diggs against Seattle or Carson getting a touchdown.
Max, you just said it. He has to get big games from Mahomes, Kamara, and Tyreek Hill.
He could score.
He could score like 10 o'clock.
He could easily score 90 points between just those 3 guys.
Right, and if that's the case, then you're probably screwed. But if they put up 40.
I mean, they're not putting up 40. Kamara kills Tampa Bay.
Sure.
I think that's the team he beats up on the most. So it's really that Baltimore versus Kansas City game that our fantasy league comes down to that. So I'll be watching, obviously.
All right. So So you have me losing. You have yourself losing. You have Caleb winning.
Yep.
You have Ben over Josh.
Yes.
And you have Andy over Brad.
That's correct.
Which means your top 4 seeds would be Caleb in the 1 seed, Quentin in the 2 seed, Steven in the 3 seed, and me as the 4 seed.
That's correct.
All right. Go playoff predictions.
All right.
We're going to do it again next week regardless, but based off of your 4, go semifinal matchups. Who wins?
Caleb versus Mike. I got Mike pulling the upset.
What up, Caleb? I hope you heard that.
Quentin versus Steven. I got Steven.
So it's an all-brother matchup for the championship?
An all-brother matchup. Repeat. Steven beats you again.
When did he beat me the first time?
He's going to beat you in the last game of the regular season.
Oh, I got you. Okay, fair.
So that's
wait, is this some championship rematch here?
No. That's what I got.
The crazy thing is, I don't think Steven and I have ever made the playoffs in the same year. So all that collusion shit y'all can just shove it, because Steven is either really good one year and I'm really bad, or vice versa. So
no, that's how the collusion works. Y'all decide.
I got it.
Who's going to be bad, and you go all in on one.
Fair. So Steven over me.
That's my pick.
2 wins in a row. He gets 2 wins against me in 3 weeks.
Yes, sir.
That's what happens if LA locks up the 1 seed by week 16.
We'll see. I think we're going to be in for a show. It's going to be a good final couple weeks.
It'll be fun. All right. Based on my predictions, I have me as the 1 seed. Caleb would be the 3 seed. Steven misses the playoffs. Right?
Yeah.
You would get the 4 seed.
No, if you have me winning, I get the 2 seed.
That's right. All right, so you get the win and get the 2 seed. Quentin gets the 4 seed.
Yeah, that's how it would go.
I don't know. You see, Quentin's team scares me the most because I saw what he did to me with the Tyreek Hill Mahomes thing. And Caleb just kept saying at the end of the 3rd quarter, "You're fine." Tyreek Hill would have to score 2 touchdowns in the 4th quarter to have a chance, and they'd have to be long touchdowns. And they were. So whenever I drink, I think of them. Quentin's team scares me the most out of anybody. And
yet you still think I'm going to beat him in this last game of the regular season? That doesn't make sense.
A quick text coming from Caleb, because we're doing this kind of live. If you see this, tell Max, I know you think I'm not going to win, but I'm going to, you goon. You picked Caleb to beat Logan.
I did pick Caleb, so I'm not really sure.
Apparently I'm the goon, but Max also picked me to beat you, Caleb, so enjoy that. Max, this was fun. Let's do it again when you're in the playoffs next week, according to my predictions.
Wait. What were your playoff predictions?
I'm going to be in the playoffs, so I can make mine next week.
No, that's some bullshit. Come on.
All right, so based off my predictions, I've got who again?
You versus Quentin, and me versus Caleb.
Quentin beats me.
Yep.
You beat Caleb.
I like it.
Quentin beats you.
Sounds about right.
I say Quentin takes it all. But he's got to figure out who his team is outside of those 3. Get Gronk out of your lineup and start Jared Cook.
No, shut the fuck up.
I'm just kidding. Gronk can go off this
Start Gronk. God, shut the fuck up, Mike. Say this after
He's moved up to Max's hit list.
Yeah, you might have.
I was just pissed at not making the top 3.
Yeah.
To spice things up. Yeah, I'll say Quentin wins it all.
Okay.
A bold prediction.
Bold prediction. I like it.
There you go. Max, this was fun. Let's do it again next week when you're in the playoffs.
I would love to. Everyone be good. Before we go, I just wanted to let everyone know this is my final year. I really do appreciate it, and I definitely want to be kind of a part of it, like Wade is a little bit.
You asking to join my team, Max? Is that what you're doing?
No, I'm not going to run your team. No, of course not.
Wade on Caleb's team.
If Josh has me, maybe me and Josh can work a team. But no, this has been very fun, and I appreciate y'all inviting me to the league, and hopefully the league continues for many years, and I can, see it from the sideline. So thanks, everyone.
Just take a sabbatical and come back in 2 years.
Maybe I'll pull a Jordan. So I've never won anything, but yeah, one of those.
Yeah, I'm surprised that you leave the league after this.
Yeah, what can you do?
Fair enough.
Anyway, it's been fun, and I hope to win this week so I can talk some more shit. But if not, good season, everyone.
Sounds good. All right, Max.
All right.
Best of luck week 14, and this shit's going to be fun. We'll see you next week.